Welcome to the Frisco Podcast. I'm your host, Scott Ellis, and our guests today are Melissa and Steve Roberts. You are going to love what they do for you because they're going to take care of all the stuff you don't want to or maybe just can't do. Well, maybe not everything, but a lot of it. So, guys, welcome to the show. Thank you for being on today.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you. Thank you, Scott.
You are the owners of Sometimes Spouse. So let's stop right there and talk about the name because I love that name, but I want to make sure there are no misconceptions about what that means.
Exactly.
Not what you think.
That's right.
So you guys are basically a handyman and household services company, right?
Correct.
You kind of come in and take care of odd jobs and things that people need done.
That's right.
So how did you get started in this?
Well, I was actually just kind of looking through job opportunities because I was not really enjoying what I was doing, and that name caught my attention. And so I said, wonder what that is. So I clicked on that and opened up, and I saw it was a franchise opportunity, and it was right up my alley, stuff that I already knew how to do. So I just inquired about it, and they quickly liked us, and we quickly liked them, and there we are.
All right. So this is a franchise, and you guys are the Frisco franchise, or do you have a broader area than that?
We are a little broader. It's Frisco, Little Elm, and Plano.
Okay. So anybody in those geographies, and we know we have a lot of people that tune in from Little Elm and Plano as well, so that's good to know. Can call you guys up and get some help. Let's talk about some of the types of things that you do. So as a handyman and household services, what does that include?
So it's going to be anything that doesn't require a license on the handyman side. So we're not going to be able to run new plumbing or electricity. However, we can do things as simple as switching out a light fixture, or if your outlets need to be switched out, that kind of thing we can do. And then on the household services side, it's going to be obviously the cleaning, which is what seems to be very popular. But we also can help you pack if you need to move. One of the things I really love, especially with their over 60 community, is to help them unpack. I love to take things out of the boxes and say, where do you want this? Or just set it down and let them put it away. That's kind of fun. It's a great way to build a relationship with our older folks, and I think they have a lot to offer. So that's been fun. And then we also pet sit in their home, and then we also can house sit.
Okay, wow, you guys do a lot of, just a variety of things.
Yeah.
Maybe it's easier to say what you don't do. So you said things that require a license. That makes sense. So things that an electrician or a licensed plumber would do.
Correct.
Are there other things that are just kind of off the table?
Can you think of anything?
Large remodeling.
Yeah.
We are not a general contractor.
Okay.
We do handyman services. Our employees are not in the trades unions and things like this. They do a variety of items as a husband might do around the house, or a wife.
A husband who has the skills to do them. I am not that husband.
Who has the skills.
That's why I'm going to call you guys.
Correct. Or, as we like to say, we repair what your husband fixed.
Yeah, we do that.
Okay, that's going to wind up in our little teaser somewhere. That is fantastic.
That's just one of our sayings, because many times it's a husband will attempt, and then his wife will call us.
Yep.
Okay, that actually makes a lot of sense to me.
And some of those, Melissa can, because she supervises our handymen more than I do, she probably can tell you more about some of the specific things that we might do, because she's watched them being done and actually helped some of them get accomplished.
Yeah, I'm actually the handy one in the family.
You are the handy one.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
very good.
We put things together. So that's another thing, which is kind of nice because, nowadays you order so much online, furniture included, and it comes in a box or a set of boxes. So people are
IKEA.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
Or that stuff you get from Office Depot even, and that's good quality stuff, but it comes in pieces. And a lot of people get a little overwhelmed when they see all the parts. So we do that too. So
okay. How do you guys charge? Is it all done by the hour? Is it a flat rate? Does it depend on the job?
Typically, it's going to be by the hour.
Okay.
But if it's a big job that's going to take several days, I have some resources that I try to figure out about how long it should take. We provide a good faith estimate, and then we'll give you a job price. If we run into something larger, let's say we're switching out a fan, for example, ceiling fan, That's going to be a flat fee of $150. And then if we get up there, though, we take down what's there. Maybe the box is not good and secure, or maybe we find what it's secured to has rotted, or it's going to be a little more invasive or extensive. Then, of course, we would sit down with the homeowner and explain what we've found, and that it's going to change the price. So we don't try to hide things. We're very open and honest, but generally try to give you a project price or an hourly price.
That makes a ton of sense, actually. And I'm sure you guys run into things all the time that, especially if you're doing things that are only periodic maintenance, so, changing out maybe a garbage disposal under a sink or something like that, right? That's a place where, you can get into a situation where there are things that are rusted or things that have some rot around them.
Absolutely.
That there's a little bit more to it than might at first meet the eye. And so what can people do to be prepared for that? Are there things that they can think about, look for, just sort of be aware of, or just know that, we're going to come out and do the work, but there might be more to it than initially? Is there anything that you would suggest?
I typically try to tell people, so if they call and they ask, what do you charge to do fill in the blank, I usually tell them we charge $75 an hour. We do project prices. I prefer to come out, meet you personally, so you can get to know us and we can get to know you a little bit, and then I want to look at what we're actually going to be quoting. And I try to do enough digging that I can give them a good, like I said, a good faith estimate, but then of course once my guys get in there it might change, and I try to tell people that.
Okay, so you do come out and try to take a look at everything and make sure you really understand the situation and
Absolutely.
give people as much information as possible.
Absolutely.
Right up front.
Yeah, it's scary to try to tell somebody over the phone, because what you and I see every day becomes kind of normal. And so to you, it might not look like a big deal as a homeowner, but when we're coming in to repair it or to upgrade it or change it in some way, it could be a big deal, and so we just kind of like to know ahead of time.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. What about other things that are maybe kind of borderline? So, for example, in our last house, I had to run some network cable because I was trying to fish it through the wall. It didn't require any electrical installation, but I was trying to fish it through the wall and connect two things and keep it all nice and hidden and clean. Mm-hmm. Is that the kind of, would you guys do something like that as well?
Absolutely. We hang TVs, and a lot of times people want the wires to not be seen.
Right.
So, yeah, we can do that.
Okay, that's good to know. And then how much of this work, Steve, are you getting out and doing some of this work too? I know she's supervising everybody, but
I do not. I am not a handyman.
Okay.
Melissa has more handyman experience from in her previous years,
life.
previous life with remodeling various homes that she and her former husband or ex-husband they would do all the remodeling of the house themselves. So
wow.
she learned. So she had an interest in this and some knowledge about handyman type work and even beyond. And she supervises the guys because I know literally nothing about I'm the type that would use our services.
Yeah.
For both household and handyman. I would want this number, and I'd be calling it frequently.
But it's interesting to know that you guys do other kind of things that are maybe not as skilled, like unpacking or packing, helping people move. I mean, that's, my wife and I moved about 10 months ago, and just due to the nature of where we were at the time, she did most of the packing. I was working around the clock at that time, and had I known or thought about bringing in somebody like you guys, it would have just taken so much weight off of her, and would have been very helpful. But I know a lot of people want to pack themselves too. They're a little particular and picky about that. How do you deal with things like that when people want things a certain way? And
luckily, we haven't had to encounter that just yet. But I mean, people are people, and you just have to, like I said, get to know them. Because if you think about everything you do with people, it's based around a relationship. So the first thing you want to do is get to know them a little bit before you go in and start trying to help them.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty intuitive, and so I size people up pretty quickly, which is good.
Well, there's going to be one more move in our future at some point in time, so there's a good chance we'll be giving you guys a call. So
we're here.
Yeah.
We love people, and we like to help people, and that's one of the reasons we enjoy this business. We get to help people. Sometimes we help relationships because there's a honey-do list. It's not getting done. And finally,
And somebody's getting nagged about it.
finally, the husband usually will tell his wife, "Okay, fine, you call and get it done, or you take care of it," type thing. And that's what we're there for. We're there to help. We're there to give. We're a family first company. We're there to give people back the time for the things that matter most, which are their loved ones, their family. We operate 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. Our employees, we want them to have the evenings off. We want them to have weekends off for their family, and we want time for our family. And with that philosophy, we get along with our customers, and we make them happy.
Yeah, and that makes a lot of sense. And you guys are putting family first in more ways than one. Another thing I love about your business, and I think we've talked about this a little bit offline, is that you're seeing more and more businesses that do a variety of things, but that are really built around giving people their time back. Because I know when I've got a little bit of time on the weekend, the last thing I want to do is start fixing things around the house, or having to repair the fence, or whatever that is. Some people really enjoy that thing, and more power to you. I don't even want to cut my own lawn. Right. I mean, I'm that guy, and I think in Frisco that's not uncommon. You don't see a lot of people mowing their own grass either. But these are the kinds of things that I think people are leaning more and more towards, because that time is getting squeezed so much. But when you have these really one-off miscellaneous things that you need to get done, and you don't know who to call, it's nice to now know that there is sometimes spouse out there that we can pick up the phone and give you guys a call, and just about anything you're going to come out and help us out with.
Absolutely. And I do want our listeners to know that we want to be your first call. Even if it's something you don't think we can do, we want you to call us, because we have partners that we can reach out to. If we can't do it, then we can give you a quality referral.
Yeah, referrals that you guys have vetted and people that you've worked with in the past, so you really know, you trust that.
Absolutely.
If you send somebody to me, they're going to do a good job.
Correct.
Definitely. We only do business or refer people that have undergo the same standards we do with their employees, and that is we do background checks, we do drug testing. All our employees are licensed or bonded and insured. So we know when we send someone to your home that it's the same as if we were sending someone to our grandmother's home. We trust them, and we know that they're going to do a good job for you.
Yeah, very good. I can imagine you guys see a lot of interesting things too, or at least your guys do. Any funny stories that you can share with us? Maybe we don't have to give out names, and we certainly don't want to give out addresses, but anything that you've ever run into that just really jumped out at you as being a particular challenge, or
actually we had one of our early projects, because we've not been in business that long, and so we went in. It was a man who owned the property but rented it. He lives out of state. And so he said, "Can you just go check it out? I want to get it painted and cleaned up, and pretty quick turnaround so we can re-rent it." Sure, no problem. When I went in, the bugs were so bad.
Wow.
The roaches were falling out of the cabinets, off the ceiling. It was awful. So it was not going to be, obviously, a quick turnaround. It took us, I counted up 450 man hours.
Wow.
And 33 working days. And there were never less than 2 of us, and sometimes there were 5 of us there. But that house turned out so beautiful by the time we finished. We painted everything that was paintable and cleaned everything that was cleanable, and I was really proud of it.
Wow, that's got to be a frightening situation to walk into in the beginning, though, too.
Yes, it was. A little overwhelming.
Not only because of just that, the bugs and whatnot, but then also having to turn back to a client and say, you've got a bigger problem than you realize here by orders of magnitude.
Exactly, because he hadn't seen it.
Yeah.
So I was sending pictures. Thank goodness for technology, So we corresponded through email and text messaging and talking on the phone quite a bit. And I finally did meet him about 3/4 of the way through the project. And he came in, he's like, "Yeah, it's looking really good, but I think we should add this and add that." And I was like, "It's just time and your money, so you bet."
Now, do you guys work with other landlords and people that own rental properties?
We would love to do that, yes.
Yeah.
We actually
Seems like a great fit.
Oh, yeah, because we can do make-readies for apartments or rental properties. We actually do have a commercial property management company that we're working with, and
Okay.
we're really excited about that because we do commercial as well as residential.
Okay, so that's very good. So you're doing commercial and residential.
Mm-hmm.
What is the big difference between the two, or is there?
Well, I mean, when you're dealing with residential, you're dealing with people's homes, so they have an emotional investment in them. So you kind of have to be careful about how you present things. You choose your words carefully. Commercial is going to be a little different, just because it's more of a matter of business, getting in there and getting it done quickly for the right price.
Yep.
Efficiency, that sort of thing.
Okay. If people want to find out more about Sometimes Spouse in Frisco or Plano, at Little Elm, where do they go?
Sometimespouse.com is our website for all franchises.
Okay.
But there is a locations tab, so you can click on that, and that'll take you to our page. It's going to give you an overview of what we do, list out a little more detail than we've even talked about all the different things that we can do. And then we encourage people to call us, because we're kind of old school in that relationship with people. We want to actually talk to you. We do text, but the number that you're going to call is a landline. And so it will go to our corporate office if you send a text, and so it takes time to get to me.
Okay.
So we advise you to call us, and then I do have a cell number that I can give you if you want to text, because we're cool with that. But
Okay.
we want to start that relationship out over the phone.
Okay. We'll make sure we link up the URL and the phone numbers in the show notes for this episode, so that people can easily reach out to you guys. Are you doing anything on social media?
We do have a Facebook page. It's Sometimes Spouse Frisco.
Okay.
So you can go check us out there. We try to post helpful tips for those who want to be DIYers. Try some things.
That's probably good biz dev for you guys, right? Here, why don't you go try this and then call us
Exactly. Exactly.
when you're ready.
Yeah.
Melissa, tell us how you answer when someone calls.
Oh, yeah. I don't want people to be caught off guard. It always generates a chuckle. But when we answer the phone, I say, "Thanks for calling Sometimes Spouse. Would you like to rent a husband or a wife today?"
So you've called the right place if you get that response when
Yes.
somebody picks up the phone. Okay.
That's right.
Yeah, I can imagine that would throw a few people off, but
It
that's
does.
okay.
It usually generates laughter, and then they say, "I don't know," or "I'm pretty sure I need a husband." And I had a friend who would call periodically for some different things, and she would say, "Well, I need a husband. 6'4" would be good," and she'd lay it all out exactly what she was looking for. I was, "We're not that kind of company."
No, but it's good that you can have fun with the name and kind of joke about it.
Absolutely,
because
we love it.
Clearly, you've gotten that question more than once in
You
the past.
bet.
I'm sure. All right, so let's go out on this. We're living and talking to everybody in and around Frisco. What do you guys love most about Frisco? Is there a place, a restaurant, a thing to do, anything in particular about Frisco that jumps out at you and makes you gravitate towards our community?
Well, I can tell you what I really have just loved about it. We just moved there 6 months ago, but everybody is just so friendly. And so I feel like I have friends just in living there. So I would say it's going to be that hometown feel, even though it's growing exponentially. I love that.
Yeah.
I like ever since I first visited Frisco, which was back year 2000 or so, when there were 35,000 people. But everyone I met was so optimistic, and there was something special about Frisco. I couldn't put my finger on it because it was a small town. So what could be special about it? But it was and is the people. From the longtime residents to the newer residents. There's a can-do spirit. There's a spirit of partnership and cooperation and a win-win that is just hard to miss if you're in Frisco for any time, doing business, shopping, living, and it's a wonderful feeling to be a part of that. On a daily basis.
Yeah, it really is. I couldn't agree more. And I can't really put my finger on how that came to be with Frisco. And it's not to knock any of our neighbors in other communities, but you really, really see it in Frisco, especially if you live there. And How exactly that got cultivated and why that came to be, I'm not sure, but it's definitely there, and we're glad to have it. So,
Amen.
And we're very glad to have you guys in Frisco.
We love it here. Thank you so much.
Yeah, we're going to keep you busy because there's a lot of people moving in that are going to need a lot of help.
Amen.
When we had the opportunity of where we wanted a franchise, and we found out that Frisco was available, we jumped on it.
Yeah, no brainer.
No brainer.
It was our number one choice. We didn't live in Frisco, but we wanted to.
Yeah, well, good. Well, again, we're glad to have you guys here. And thank you so much for taking the time to come on the show today.
Thanks for having us.
I hope we keep you exceedingly busy and that phone starts ringing off the hook as soon as this podcast goes live.
We hope so too.
Thanks, Scott.
you.
All right, guys. Thank you very much. And thanks to all of you for tuning in again to the Frisco podcast. We'll talk to you next time.
You're listening to RMCN, the digital destination for premium talk radio.